Hi, I'm Nancy. Welcome to Mindful Yoga. In this recording, I am doing a gentle version of the session on Sun Salutation. So it's rather similar to the medium version on Sun Salutation. This is an attempt to be able to do Sun Salutations with the option of being a little easier on shoulders, on wrists, and on knees. So we'll be using a chair, and particularly the back of the chair to back up from, to stretch out into downward dog. And we'll be using high lunges rather than knee down lunges for our Sun Salutations. Surya Namaskar, Surya, sun, or bringing forth the light. Namaskar, no mind action. So today we are attempting to be like flowers, just open and soft and gentle, and open to the sun that we are enjoying so much at this particular time when I'm making this recording near the solstice. So let's have a seat where we can have a spine that is straight and only with its natural curves. You're welcome to be in a chair for this first part. We will be following this first part by lying down and then going on our stomachs for a little bit. So if you feel like getting down and staying there for a while, that also will work. Let's come into the quiet here for a few minutes before we start our movement. Inviting the breath in through nose, expanding lungs, lower ribs, and the diaphragm. Letting diaphragm expand and then contracting it firmly to breathe out the air so that we can invite in clean air. Let these be firm breaths, expanding firmly through lungs, ribs, and diaphragm. Using that diaphragm muscle to firmly, fully exhale. Three more long, Dirga, firm breaths. Now shifting to a much lighter breath. Let the breath be light and soft. It can still be long, but as soft as the feel of a flower petal. Three more light breaths. See the flowers so faithful to earth. There's a lightness in things like flowers. Now we're going to do a light Kapalabhati breath. A Kapalabhati breath is where you have a quick exhale through the nose and then a passive inhale that just kind of happens. But we're going to do this one very lightly. So usually they're rather forceful and fast. These can be a little slower, lighter, gentler. So that quick, sharp exhale out the nose that's light, and then a passive inhale. Letting the diaphragm contract with the exhale. Just using a gentle strength that wouldn't disturb a flower. About 10 more at your own speed. and then letting Kapalabhati breath go. If you are on any thing that's holding your hips up, if you're on the floor, put those aside. You can stay in your chair if you'd like for this part. It will work just fine. Bring one hand down onto the mat, other one rises up, letting the body open up along the lateral connective line of connective tissue. Feeling the side of the hip, the ribs, the armpit, the arm begin to warm and hydrate. We know the fate of flowers because we share it. Were they to grieve for their wilting, that grief would be ours to feel. And one last time over to the other side. Coming back up through center. Let one hand come up, the other one crosses over to the thigh. Open up, face up to the sky like a flower, and then closing in as if you are closing in your petals at night. Opening up, unfolding to the sun. Exhaling, closing in for the night. And one last opening. And closing in. Then bring this hand that's on the arm down onto the opposite thigh. Other hand comes behind for some support. And just turn. Lumbar spine, hips are stable and strong. And there's just a little turn in the mid to upper spine. Feeling the lengthening and the centering of this spiraled spine. Only we move, forever burdened, pressing ourselves into everything, obsessed by weight. Says Pablo Neruda in a poem. And then over to the other side. Feeling that lifting from the hips that are grounded down, lifting up through the spine, up to the crown. Only turning a 50% of what you could turn here. Then coming back through center, bring the other hand up, the opposite of the one that rose the last time, reaching towards the sun, opening your flower face towards the sun. And then coming round, closing your petals in for the night. Opening your petals to the sun, closing for the night. And one last time, opening and folding in. Come back through center. Shoulders are relaxed. Relax down through the hips. Let one ear go towards one shoulder, come up through middle, and the ear goes to the other shoulder. Just a slow movement, not a big movement, within your range of motion. And just the moving and the sinking down of the ear may increase that range of movement by a millimeter or two. We're not asking for much. There's not a lot of movement in your neck in this direction, but just ensuring that we have the use of this movement. And coming up through center, bring arms wide, elbows and wrists are loose, shoulders are relaxed. Inhale, exhale, bring arms close to each other or together and cave in a little bit through the stomach, opening up and exhaling, closing in. Continue 2 more times. How strange and devouring our ways must seem to those like the flowers for whom life is enough. And come back through center. Clasp the hands, interlacing the fingers, push forward, push up, bring the arms out to the side. Hands go up against the walls in your imagination, coming in, pushing out, opening up, Pausing for a moment here, feel the sensations through the arms, the wrists, the hands. And one last time, this is good for lung and heart meridians, coming in and around. Arm revolution. Bring one arm up, let the gaze follow it. Careful of your shoulder, opening it just as far as it should. Don't go back too far if that is bringing up some experiential hurts of your shoulder. So always respecting the body. And then we're going to come back around the other way and let the hand and arm just flow down. Feel its lightness as it comes down. Other side, lifting up, gaze follows just as far back as serves you. And one more time, up and around. Bringing the arm up one last time and lightly feeling its softness as it slowly falls down to earth. Avail yourself of one of your feet, whether you're in a chair or on the floor, rubbing the arch of the foot a little bit. If you're in a chair, you might bring your foot up onto your thigh and just rubbing there, relaxing down through your face and your shoulders and your hips so that the foot too and toes can relax. Then bringing the hands around the shin and the thumbs in the back at the calves. Work from the ankle up, kneading the calf muscle with the thumbs up towards the knee. And 2 more times. Taking care of that calf muscle, which is important to our breathing and circulation, as well as to our ability to walk on the earth. And then bringing the knee up, just rub down. Rub from knee down to ankle, thumbs coming down the back. Then coming to the other side, rubbing with the thumb along the arch, relaxing through cheeks, down between the shoulder blades. Feeling that foot softening. Then rubbing up from ankle up to knee, kneading the calf muscle in the back. Then brushing down from knee to ankle 3 times. Hopefully, all of this helps you to enjoy the sun that we are saluting today so you can be out in it and active and walking around. Let's roll our ankles with our feet wide, round and round in one direction, and then around in the other direction. If you could enter the dreaming of the flowers, they would bloom and welcome you. Then we're going to point toes up towards the ceiling and then out in front of us, flexing ankles and pointing toes back and forth. All those brothers and sisters tossing in the meadows, and you would be one of them. Now we're going to do a little twist and come down over one leg. You may have both legs out, or you may bend a knee in a little bit. If you have full use of the knee, you might come up, but it depends on what range of motion you have. So always respecting that range of motion. Soften the knee here, one hand on the leg, one hand on the hip. And you can do this in the chair as well, if you're in the chair. Bring the face up towards the sky, opening through the chest with a bit of a twist here. Then letting the hand run down thigh, maybe down to the shin. Other arm lifts up just to the extent that is comfortable. Or maybe you have your hand on your shoulder, and that's one way to protect that shoulder a bit. Then floating back up, and one more time, over and up. Coming back through center, change legs, finding a comfortable place on this side. Hand on leg, other hand on hip, opening chest and face up towards the sky with a bit of a twist. Then bringing hand to shoulder or bringing hand up and coming over just a bit for a twist and a side bend all at the same time. Float up and float over. And come back up. Bring the legs straight out in front of you. My knees are soft, hands are behind my thighs. So I'm giving myself support and helping out my abdominal muscles by doing this. Firm through the hips, inhale up through the crown, exhale forward just an inch or two. Inhale up, exhale forward, feeling some stretch in the sacrum, lower back area. You can keep your hands here, or you can come up into cactus, inhaling up and exhaling over. This requires a little bit more drawing in through the pelvic floor and strong abdominal muscles. Coming up and over one last time, just a few inches, and back up. Now bringing the soles of the feet together, legs can remain in a diamond here. Bringing hands onto thighs or onto shins just below the knees. Let the tailbone come down in the back and draw up the abdominal muscles in the front. And then come forward a little bit, a few inches. Come back up. And then down in the tailbone, pulling up through the abdominal muscles, coming forward. And back up. All right. We're now going to come to a lying position. And I always like to start my lying positions by coming back and just sinking down into earth. We'll think of it as flowers just rooting down, finding their base, their roots, connecting with the soil, everything that is rich there. Sometimes connecting with nutrition despite what is not there. Letting your muscles relax, feeling gravity making you heavy, and at the same time, the lightness of your organs, of your skin, of your face. Then bending knees so that they come up over the hips. Head stays on the mat and fingers reach up towards the ceiling. Reach out with one foot and up with the knee. And you can bring the feet a little higher, and that's a little easier in the abdominal muscles. This is good for the pelvic floor and the transverse abdominis that comes around from the spine and ribs to the midline in front of the abdomen. With 3, 2, and 1, and bring it down. Bring arms out from the shoulders, knees come up bent once again. Let the knees come over just a bit to one side, then up through middle and over to the other side. Again, pelvic floor is active, drawing in a bit, and the abdominal muscles are called on to pull those legs up, and the muscles along the ribs as well, and come up through center. Bring the feet down. Hands help the legs to come back with knees coming up towards the chest. Give the knees a little hug towards the chest. Then bring them out towards the armpits. Feet rise up, and hands come to shins or ankles or the bottom of the feet. Lift up, push up through one leg, and then push up through the other leg, opening in the back of the leg. Pushing up, opening out. Then bring the legs a little wide, giving them support. Let them cross. Open up. Let them cross with the opposite leg in front. Open up. And then bending them, let the feet come down just in front of the buttocks. Arms are along the side. We're coming into moving bridge. So tucking in the shoulders and bringing weight into the soles of the feet. Use your glute muscles as you rise up through the hips. Arms rise up. They might come up so that they're just pointing up to the ceiling. They might come farther back. And then with the exhale, bringing the arms down and arms and hands coming down to the mat. Inhale up, finding your best version of this moving bridge. Long inhale and long exhale. Again, thinking of the soft fragrance of a flower just floating through the air. The hint of fragrance that we catch as we pass a daphne or whatever lovely flower is in your environs. One last time here and bringing it down. And we're going to roll over a bit and come up to a seated position. Bring your hands behind your thighs just above the knees, and your sits bones are here underneath you. Let your body come back just a little farther onto the soft tissue behind the sits bones. Let your toes come onto the mat. Feel a little bit of length through your spine, and you can just stay right here. You might want to raise one foot and raise the other foot. This is a good way to give some challenge to the back and abdominal muscles. If you would like to bring both feet up, feel free to do so. A little bit more challenge here. You might even let a hand come out, let the other hand come out, or both hands. So finding your place for 3, 2, and 1, and bring it down. Bring feet wide, hands come back behind. This is a little hard on the wrist. You can always bring fists onto the, it's a little awkward. So see what you can do, and if it doesn't work for your wrists, don't do it. But just raise the hips and let them swing back and forth a little bit. They might open up, kind of like a gentle breeze blowing a flower. 3, 2, and 1, and bring it back. Now we're coming over onto a prone position with our stomachs to the earth. Lay down with your torso, bringing the arms back behind. Hands are facing in towards the body. Lengthen down through the toes. Anchor down through the pubic bone. Let the sacrum come down, the tailbone come down towards the area between the heels. Then lengthen up through the crown. Imagine that you're making your spine an inch longer. Then leaving the arms down for now, let head and shoulders and legs float up just an inch or two, not much. And then the arms can float up several inches as well. Bring it down. Once again, lengthen toes, sacrum, pubic bone anchored, crown comes forward, float up with everything but arms, and then bring the arms up. For 3, 2, and one, and bring it down. Bring the left hand underneath the forehead. Right hand comes back to the right glutes, the glute muscles. And then bend that right knee. Feel the glute muscles engage as you stretch back or lift slightly with that knee. It's a very slight movement, just enough to feel the engagement in the glute muscles. Then making that leg long, slight inch or two rise with the leg, hip remains down, feeling the engagement in the glutes. This is a good thing to engage the glutes once a day, and then you know they're working, and they know they're working. And we'll come around to the other side, forehead on the right hand now, and left hand comes back to left glutes, left leg bends, slight stretching down through the knee, very slight lift, seeing if you can feel that engagement in the glutes, then long leg and slight lift with the leg. For 3, 2, and 1. Bring the arms back. Now palms are down and they're going to turn outwards. Head and shoulders rise and arms go out to the side with the thumbs up. Employing all the muscles, hamstrings and glutes and up through the back muscles along the spine and come down. And one last time, toning those back muscles for 3, 2, and 1, and bring it down. Bring your hands under the cheek for a moment and just relax. Be that no mind doing in which life is enough. And keeping the mind in the body, rise up and make your way to a standing position. So this is where you will want to have a chair. And any chair or the side of a couch, anything that you can bring your hands onto and back up from is what we're looking for here. So as you come up and find whatever it is you might be using in front of you, come into a mountain position for a moment. Feel the mat underneath your feet or the carpet, the floor, ultimately the earth, drawing dynamic strength of your flower stem up through the arches, the inner seams of the legs, pelvic floor, abdominal muscles up through the sternum and the roof of the mouth, little tuck in the chin, long through the back of the neck, and then relaxing down through face and shoulders, arms sinking down towards the earth. One breath here. Inhale, arms up. Exhale as torso comes parallel and arms come out to the side. Then you might want to hold on to the chair as you do a forward fold, or you might want to bring hands to opposite elbows and let the body come down into a forward fold. Hands might come to shins or to thighs or to the chair, extending out through the spine. Then coming back up, bring one foot forward and one foot back into a high lunge. You can keep one hand on the chair or both hands might come to the hips. Feeling that opening through the front of the thigh and the hip flexor. Let the arms come forward, lightly lifting up and coming round. And you can have a very narrow stance here. So don't try to do the widest high lunge. Just make it fit what is right for your body. Then bringing the hands to the chair. And you can always come down to the mat to do a downward dog if you would like, or a mixture. But if you're using the chair, just backing up, keeping the hands on the chair for support, soft through the knees, very soft on this first one, stretching back through the spine. Sometimes I even bring my hands down, if you have this kind of chair, down to a lower place. Then stretching back. Then bringing the left foot forward, or stepping forward and then coming into a lunge with the left foot forward. Arms lift up and around. Be in the very lightness of the arms as they float up and float down like petals. And then come forward, and we're going to do that again. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward into a forward fold of your version. Half fold, hands might be on chair or shins or thighs. Then stepping back with the right foot into a lunge. Let the arms come up and around, float up and around. Arms come forward onto the chair, backing up into downward dog. This time you might want to pedal your heels, opening up through the backs of the legs, finding the support you need through the arms. And if it needs to be a elbow bent downward dog, that's fine. Or you might be on a downward dog down on the mat, and that's fine too. Lifting up, bring the left foot forward into a high lunge. Find your balance. And once again, opening up through the arms and out. And once again. Now coming forward, holding the chair, we're going to do a cat-cow. Another way to do this would be to bring your knees wide, and you can do a cat-cow that way. But if you've got the chair, this is a convenient way to do it. Let the tailbone rise, and then the tailbone sinks as the back arches. Tailbone rises, heart slides forward, and exhale as the back of the spine opens. One more time, front of spine opens, and back of spine opens. Then continuing in this position, let the hips go to one side and then the other. Again, this can be a small movement, and you might pivot on the balls of your feet a little bit, kind of like a skier going down the mountain. Not that I can do that, but my imagination. And then coming back through center, come up onto your tiptoes and do the same. Little movement from side to side, opening up through the hips and giving some good exercise for the spinal muscles as well as legs and feet. Come back through center. Then coming back just a little bit farther, we're going to bring the right foot underneath the body and over to the side. So I'm coming underneath the body and over to the left side, and letting my hips fall a little bit to the right. Bring that foot back. Left foot goes under, over, and the hips go over to the left a little bit. One more time on each side. Right foot under and over to the left, hips to the right, and then back through. Left foot under and over as the hips go a little bit to the left and come through. Step forward, stand up, bring one hand back to the back of the thigh, and the other hand comes up and over for a bit of a twist. Opposite side, hand to the back of the thigh, other arm up and over. One more time in each direction. The lumbar spine doesn't bend much here. Most of the bending is through the mid spine and the neck. And one last time, around and back. Now coming back, and again, this can all be done with knee down lunges and a downward dog on the mat, but I'm showing you how to do this here with a chair. We're going to do another Surya Namaskar. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold using chair or hands on opposite elbows. Half fold, hands on thighs or shins or chair, extending out through the back. Then bringing the hands forward to the chair, bring the feet back, become an inverted plane for a plank. For 3, 2, and 1. Step forward a bit, bring some opening through the chest as you come into a cobra. Then stepping back to plank once again, stepping back farther to downward dog. A little bit of softness through the feet and through the knees. Then we're going to step forward into a lunge once again. The front knee is a little bit bent. One hand can always stay on the chair. If you have both hands available, bring the palms together and push. So relaxing through the shoulders, but pushing through all the muscles that are necessary to push those palms together. Release the push and we'll do a pull. So we're hooking fingers together, all the fingers together, and pulling through lower arms, elbows, upper arms, shoulders. But let the shoulder blades just surrender down the back. 3, 2, and 1. Bring the hands to the chair once again. Come back into downward dog. Come up onto the tiptoes and down and up and down. Then bring one foot around the back as if you were going to curtsy and bend the front knee a bit. Foot comes back, other foot comes back around. A little bit of curtsy there and come back up. Then left foot comes forward and we're coming once again into a lunge. Bring the palms together once again, pushing for 3, 2, and 1. And then pulling with fingers interlocked, hooking into each other and pulling 3, 2, and 1. And then letting go and bringing both feet together. Once again, coming through mountain pose. Compose your mountain pose. Inhale, arms up. Exhale into your version of forward fold. Half fold, long through the spine. Fold. Arms reach up and around, overhead, coming down into namaste with hands, palms together in front of the heart. Hands onto chair, feet come back a bit, coming into plank, kind of an inclined plane here. Strong through the body to support this plank for 3, 2, and 1. Feet come forward just a bit, bring some opening to the chest. Gaze rises a bit. And then we're coming back into downward dog. Rise up through the toes and down. Bring one foot back behind and back. And then the other foot back behind the other and back. Left foot comes forward. And this time we're going to open the arms with the palms forward. I call this peaceful warrior. Arms are back a little bit from the body, so you're open through the chest and the palms are open to the world, kind of like our big petals. open for everyone to see our beauty. And then hands come to the chair once again. Reach back into downward dog. Come forward with the right foot. Come up, open, arms back. Take an inhale and exhale here. And bring the feet together. Coming into mountain for a moment once again. Knees are soft, hips are soft. Feel some buoyancy through the body. Feel the head easy, chin in a bit, a little length through the back of the neck. As they say in Tai Chi, make your head bobbleacious, able to bobble around so that your body from the heels up through hips and shoulders are holding that head very easily. Bring arms up and around, and you might come into steeple fingers or put hands as they are comfortable. Inhale up through fingers, exhale over. Not a long way, keep that length through the back from the hips up through the ribs. Inhale up and exhale over. Coming up, inhale and exhale over. Inhale up. And for the last time, exhale over. Bring the hands down. Facing the top of your mat, one foot is forward and one foot is back. You might bring that foot at about 30 degrees in the back. This is coming into a warrior one, but find what works for your hip. You can always have the toes forward as well. Bring your left hand to the left glutes, finding some engagement there. Inhale as right arm reaches up, long from pelvis up through sternum, long also through the sacrum and tailbone. And come back down. Now both arms arch up slowly. Let yourself feel the lightness of the arms as they rise. You're rooted down so that you can just float up. It's like rise in the gaze. Shoulder blades are relaxed. Long through the back of the neck. The chin remains a little tucked. And come back down. Now bring the right hand to the hip. Left hand rises up. And then, back so you can see me a little better, I'm going to swoop it around for just a little twist from the waist up. Just swooping the arm around and feeling that twist mainly through the thoracic spine. And bring the hand down. Bring both feet together. And the other foot comes back, coming into warrior one on this side. Bring the right hand to the right glutes. Left arm comes down. Opening up. Let the arm float up and at the same time feel that light gradual opening all the way up through abdomen and chest. Chin slightly tucked and coming back down. Then both arms are going to come up. Keep the engagement in the glutes. Long through the tailbone. Opening up like a flower to the sun. And then lightly, softly, gently land the arms back down so they can sink down to earth once again. Now bring the left hand to the hip, right arm reaches up, then sweeps around. Lumbar spine here in the back remains stable. The flexibility in the mid back and the neck. And bring that arm down. Bring the feet together. Then coming to the behind the chair once again. Straighten my mat here a minute. Inhale, arms up. And then bend slightly through the knees and the hips, just a softness there as hands are extended out in front, palms facing each other, coming down into chair. Inhale up. And then sit the tailbone down onto a stool, high stool, and up. And one more time, down. Bring one arm open to the side, both arms forward, other arm open to the side, and back. One last time, open to side, and back. And you can always straighten the legs if you need to here, and then open to the side, and back. Bring the hands to the waist or to the chair, coming into high lunge once again. Come into cactus arms. And we're going to be cactuses with flowers. These are our flowers here in our cupped hands. What color are your flowers? Maybe pink or red, or orange. For 3, 2, and 1. Then bringing the hands to the chair, backing up into downward dog. Knees are soft. Bring the left foot right under the hips, centering it as the left foot is centered and the right foot rises up. It might just rise up a little bit in the back and come back down. Then left foot comes forward into lunge. Open up with cactus. Make your flowers with your cupped hands. Imagine yourself full of water in the desert. Then bringing the arms down, hands forward, coming again back into downward dog. Right foot is now directly under the hips. Left foot rises up. It's as far as is right for you in the back. Step the feet forward a bit. Come into plank. Step forward a little bit more. Open into cobra. Then stretching back one last time into downward dog. And step forward. Inhale as arms rise. And come around. And back into namaste for a moment. Let the hands come down. We're going to step back into high lunge once more. Hands can be on the chair if you'd like. We're going to do a light Kapalabhati again. So I'm bringing one hand's fingers to the area between the lower ribs so I can feel that diaphragm contracting as I make that quick active exhale out of the nose and then allow that passive inhale. So this is light, delicate, like a flower. About 10 more. And let it go. Bring the feet together. And step back with the other foot. Once again, some fingers onto the diaphragm. Grounded down through both feet. Soft in both knees, particularly the front one. And the hips are aligned with each other. Then that quick, soft exhale, very active, with the passive inhale. About 10 more. And letting that go, hands to the hips, bring both feet together. Before we leave our standing position, we're going to do a balance. So you're welcome to have the chair here. Bring the weight into the leg that is on the side of the chair for your foundation leg. Good focus, energy up through the body. We're going to lift the knee. Once again, lifting. And now we're going to bring the knee in and bring it round. So your toe might stay on the earth as you circle round with that knee and open up in the hip. Or you might lift the knee and open a little farther through the hip and come around. So finding your place here. And then become a flower with your petals also joining in, just opening up the morning light, closing in the evening, and opening up once again. And coming down. Good job. If you'd like to use the chair, bring it to the other side. Begin with the good foundation leg. Feel your rooting down and your strong stem reaching up. The leg comes up and down, up and down. And then you might make a arch with the knee, half a circle, coming round. You might lift that knee up and make a lift of the knee. You might let the arms enter in, or you might let one arm enter in. Find your flower. And one last time. And bring it down. Bring one hand to chest and one hand to belly. Just breathe for a moment. Letting go of our obsessive weight, being light, soft. And we're going to come down onto the mat once again. And we'll have a few things happen here on the mat. Then we will come into relaxation before we end. So making your way gradually down onto the mat, come onto your side. And once you get here, bring the forearm and elbow under the shoulder for good support. Knees are a little bent. Bring the hand up to the shoulder and bring the elbow forward and around. One more time. Again, respecting the issues of your shoulder. And then you might keep the hand there, or you might bring the arm up and going the opposite direction, paint a small circle on the ceiling. Now reaching down, hand might be kind of tucked behind the thigh, or if you bend that knee, maybe you can come in front of the shin just below the knee. And then just a little bit, bring knee and nose towards each other. Then sliding the hand down a bit, open up. Now you might just bring a little hand to your tights and open up. So the main point is here to open up through the front of the body, get a little bit of stretch in your front of your quad and then up through the body. So any way that you can do this, you don't have to bring your knee bent sharply. You don't have to catch your foot. Just find what is possible here for you. And then come back with knee towards nose. Open up through the front. And one more time, knee to nose. And opening through the front. Then come down for a moment onto your elbow. So you're holding your head with your elbow, or your head can be down on your crooked arm. Straighten the legs a bit and lift the leg just as far as works. Feeling a lightness there, grounded down through the rest of your body. So that leg can just float up. And one more time. Now you can just roll over to the other side, and we're going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to change my direction so I'm still facing you. Again, come to that elbow and forearm. Let the knees be bent a bit. Bring the hand to the shoulder. Elbow comes forward and around. 2 more times, round. I even feel some lightness through my elbow. And then you can keep the hand on the shoulder, or arm might come up, and you might go the opposite direction, painting a small circle on the ceiling. Then bringing the hand down, and maybe the hand behind the thigh or under the knee on the shin, bringing knee towards nose. Then straightening the knee down towards the bottom of the mat and opening up the body all the way, hip, stomach, up through the shoulder, then bringing the knee and nose towards each other. Opening up, you might have a little bit of your tights, you might be holding your shin, or you might just hold the back of the thigh, giving some support that way. One more time. Knee to nose and opening up. Let the body come down on the side. Let the feet come out straight. Ground down through the body. Let it sink down like the roots of a flower. And then just let one leg float up a little bit and come down. So more important than any height here is the lightness of the leg. And one more time, muscles relaxed in that leg, and bring it up. And find your resting position. You might even rest on your side in a fetal position today, or you might come onto your back, whatever suits. And for a few minutes, we'll just relax here. If you're on your back, you might let your knees tent in towards each other, or extend the legs out. Invite yourself back into the breath, letting the mind stay in the body, in the softness and lightness that we have created here together. Feel the softness of the lips and the tongue, the front of the throat. Soft rise in the chest and the falling. Soft through stomach and intestines. Glutes puddling on the mat. Soft through the backs of the thighs, knees, calves, ankles, the arches of the feet, the tips of the toes, the lightness of fingertips, palms. Relax from wrists up through elbows, elbows to shoulders. Melting between the shoulder blades behind the heart, up through the back of the neck, back of the skull, the top of the crown, open, easy. Forehead, eyes, smooth, relaxed. Coming back to your gentle, light breathing for 3 or 4 breaths. Feel free to stay in this position and rest longer. If you're coming back into your day, bring some movement to fingers and toes. Roll wrists and ankles if that's available to you in your position. If you're on your back, give your knees a hug. If you're on your side, just curl in a little bit farther. Taking care of your soft, gentle self, your inner body, mind, spirit. Soft and vulnerable, deserving of your care. And if you are coming back into your day, slowly rolling over and coming up into a brief sitting position. May we be healthy. May we be spacious in our bodies and minds, hearts. May we move lightly through the world like a flower for whom life is enough. Namaste. Very good to practice with you. May your life go well.